Hi everyone, welcome to Sister Codes. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kaylee. Before we go any further, we would love it if you guys like this video and subscribe below. Alright, let's get started.
I think that was cheesy.
Okay, fine.
We can cut it before. Alright. Alright. I don't know. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. We have a very exciting new video for you today. We're going to be talking about all of the tools that help us with content creation, whether it's for our podcast or for YouTube videos or for Instagram as well.
We use a bunch of different tools, and these are ones that we've kind of slowly built up a collection of over time, but that's something that I always wondered when I saw people creating content. I always wondered what it was they were using, if they spent like $1,000 on their setup. Turns out there's a lot of very budget-friendly things that you can use that make really big improvements to when you're creating content, but don't have to break the bank. So we wanted to share them with you today.
Yeah, for example, we are filming on our Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus phones, and the video quality is incredible.
Yeah.
The sound quality is pretty good as well. So yeah, you can use your own phone to make YouTube videos.
Yeah, no, it's a really great way to start, especially if you don't have a really nice camera. So speaking of cameras, I have
a very nice camera.
It's a Nikon D3500. I'm fairly certain. I have two different lenses that came with this specific set. So this is kind of the more wide angle lens, and then there's also like a portrait lens. Well, it's a really long zoom lens that you can use for portraits or close-ups, things like that. I use this primarily for any Instagram content that we're shooting. I think we've done some thumbnails using this, but for the most part, since it's heavier, it requires a heavier duty tripod as well. So the setup on this one's a little bit more than just grabbing your phone and sticking it into a tripod. But this is really, really nice if you are looking to get like an entry-level DSLR, and it tends to go on sale in nice kits that come with like an extra battery and, you know, an extra lens, things like that. I happen to get this one from Costco, but I know that a lot of other places sell it in this same beginner's bundle. So this is a really great one to have if you're looking to create more photography related content.
And talking about tripods, I just got this for my birthday, but this is an Ubi size. Is that what it's called? Ubi size. Yeah, that's what it's called. And it's a tripod. I also have a like a phone mount, I guess, so that you can put your phone and it clips into it. And then also, as you can see here, I have a light. So this is really great for if you know, have bad lighting in your room or something like that, or you just want your pictures to come out really pretty with that nice warm glow. So this is the light, and you just hook it on, and then there are multiple different settings. There's like a cool light, and then a warm light, and then a daylight one that's kind of in between. And yeah, I've just found this super helpful for taking Instagram photos. There's also a little tiny clicker so that you can take photos just like out of the shot. You can just like, take photo.
I think a ring light with a, like you said, a remote is one of the biggest game changers, so that you're not, first of all, not like balancing your phone on like a book with something in front of it, which I definitely did when I was first starting to create content. But also with the lighting, it kind of evens it out. You can also take nighttime photos that aren't as like very shadowy looking. So I definitely think that's one of the best investments. The great news is they're really cheap on Amazon. We'll link to the one that we have below, but you know, you can get them from pretty much anywhere, and it's like under $20, and it's one of the best investments that you can make in terms of content creation, you know, setup.
Yeah.
So another thing we wanted to talk about is we do have our podcast. So our podcast features this lovely Yeti Blue mic. This is a condenser mic. So this picks up any ambient noise, like any ambient noise. Like I'm talking, even when we're in my room, which is not big by any means, but there is a lot of wood paneling, you can hear a slight echo sometimes. So we actually have a sound stand that was a gift to me from my friend that helps dampen it. But I personally love this mic. We've been able to use it together in the same room. It has like a bunch of different patterns, which tell you about the orientation of the people using the mic, which is great. You can also change the gain. That is a great mute button, super important. But we've absolutely loved this mic and like the sound quality in our podcasts. So definitely recommend this one. We happened to get it from Best Buy. Great thing about Best Buy is they have like same day pickup. So I remember when we decided to start our podcast, we wanted to start it like today. And so yeah, we got this one. I know that there can be some, I guess, like discussion about whether a condenser mic is the best mic to start with for podcasts. We personally haven't had any problems with this one. We think it was really easy. Like, you just took it out of the box, plugged it into our computer, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, we also do like a lot of tests beforehand, so we'll record like a little tiny segment and listen to see if you can hear anything. It really does catch anything. Like if our mom is like blow drying her hair, like you can hear it. Everything. So yeah, we have to be super careful, but like Kaylee said, we have the little stand and it protects it so that you don't get that sound. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Yeah.
So next I wanted to talk about the software and the tools that we use to edit some of the, our content. One of them is GarageBand. So we use GarageBand really heavily for our podcasts, but for our YouTube videos, Ashley's kind of taken the charge on that one.
So right now we're using Adobe Premiere Pro. I know that a lot of people start out with iMovie and it's definitely more user-friendly. Like Kaylee even mentioned, maybe we should start out with iMovie, but I was like, no, I've done Adobe Illustrator and I learned it and I want to do Premiere Pro. It's definitely not as user-friendly. There is a very steep learning curve, I would say.
Very steep learning
like,
curve.
We were sitting there, like, Googling how do you crop on Premiere Pro, because it's not straightforward at all.
Yeah.
But anyways, it has turned out to be really good for customization, like, any type of customization we want to do on the video. If it's, like, subtitles or doing, like, the zoom to effect work really, really well. It's obviously kind of expensive because you do have, you have to buy like the Adobe suite or just the singular one, and that is something to take into consideration. Like iMovie is free on your Mac if you have a Mac. But yeah, so that's been a super helpful tool when we're creating our videos. And I think another one that I want to talk about is Canva.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
We both use Canva.
Huge.
I don't know which one of us started using it. I feel like I started using
it. I think you were.
And I told you about it. But Canva is great because you can create like social media posts. You can create even like YouTube animation. Like our front screen on YouTube is from Canva. And so, yeah, it's just so great. They have so many different resources. Most of them are free. You can also get Canva Pro if you want to, but we're just sticking with the free version for now.
Yeah, the nice part about Canva is that it's really accessible, especially as a beginner. When you don't know much about graphic design, you don't need to sit and learn about all the Adobe tools, because I have used Adobe Illustrator in the past and it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. Yeah, for
sure.
Yeah,
it's a big learning curve. I mean, obviously there's more customization you can do, but I've been really impressed with Canva and how customizable. You can bring in your brand colors really easily. It allows for like hex code to make sure that you're matching all the color codes across the different brand images that you're creating. And like you said, the animations are huge. Like you can create animated Instagram posts and stories, and even for YouTube. So we've relied really heavily on Canva throughout our entire content creation process, and it's definitely been a lifesaver.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we have, do you have one more that you want to talk about?
So I did want to talk really briefly about a GoPro. And I know, especially when we first started with our YouTube channel, we thought we'd be using the GoPro a lot more. There are some challenges to the GoPro. Number one, I found that the mic on this is not phenomenal. Like it's definitely tough to use it with just the built-in mic. And especially if you're outdoors or in any kind of place where there's wind, it causes a lot of muffling sounds.
Especially wind, yeah.
Especially wind. And it's also really difficult to kind of see what you're filming just due to the fact that the display is so small. That being said, it's really nice for like those wide angle shots because you can get kind of that fishbowl effect and then crop it down when you're in like the post-production editing, so you can really hone in on what you're looking at, but it does have a much wider angle lens. And it does shoot 4K video, which is really nice because anything that requires a really high frame rate and really high definition, this is great. You do need really good lighting in order to use a GoPro. I've noticed that it doesn't do as well indoors. The pictures can come out pretty grainy, or the videos can come out pretty grainy. But especially for like random things around the cabin and, you know, random chores we're doing. This is really awesome for capturing that kind of content. The GoPro can be really fantastic for outdoor content, but it's not as great for shooting indoors. And for vlog style, I actually think this is really nice, but
Yeah.
it can be kind of shaky. So it's definitely worth investing in some of the mounts. So this is like the floater handle grip. You will need a separate adapter to connect to a tripod, so that's another thing to keep in mind when you're using your GoPro. You'll want to make sure that you have all of the adapters to make sure that you can secure it in place.
Yeah, so I think that's about everything. We really hope that you enjoyed this video. Like Kaylee said, when you're first starting out, it can be really intimidating and you're like, oh, I need to buy a super fancy camera. Like, I don't think that's the case. Honestly, your phone and a tripod is like an incredible
Those are
place
the
to
two. I think those are the top two. Well,
and
aside from the phone, I think the tripod's number one. A light might be number two. I did want to mention really quickly, we are editing everything on our Macs, so we don't have PCs. We both have mid 2014 MacBook Pros, and they've been great. Like, I thought they were really going to struggle with some of the video processing, especially using Adobe Premiere Pro, but that has not been the case. I think the only thing to keep in mind is that exporting the videos is going to take a very long time. But that, I feel like that's going to be the case no matter what device you're working on.
I feel like YouTubers always talk about that. It takes a long time to export videos, but what can you do?
Yeah, I think for our last 15-minute video, it took well over an hour. So that's just something, that's something to keep in mind. It's true, Macs aren't known for great graphics, processing, anything of that nature, but
video games.
But for our purposes, they've actually worked really well. And so I think the most important part, have that tripod, have that light, and you should be ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. As always, we will link to all these products below so that you know exactly what we're using. And yeah, make sure to subscribe and like this video and let us know in a comment if you do content creation, what your very first thing that you bought for content creation was and whether it worked well or not.
If you have any recommended upgrades to our existing setup, we would love to hear your experience with those.
But yeah, please subscribe. We come out with a new video every single Wednesday, so we will see you back here next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Da, 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 da.